How's it going, guys? Matt here, Rideshare PA. Hope everybody is having a great week, a great year so far. Um, as always, guys, I just want to start out the video by saying thank you to every single person that watches, and also every single person that has either subscribed, continues to watch, or show me support. I appreciate it. Do me a favor, if any of my previous videos you have ever watched, if you have learned something or you find them entertaining or otherwise, just do me a favor and share them with whoever, anybody that you feel might learn something from it, whether it's a fellow rideshare driver or a fellow rider or a family member or what have you. With that being said, guys, today I'm going to start a series. It's going to be based on the thumbnail, Uber versus Lyft. Okay, and this is going to be based on my personal experiences and some other experiences that I've heard from other drivers, okay? And the whole basis is Uber versus Lyft, which one is better, which one is worse, the pros and cons between both. Let me first start off by saying both of these businesses are pretty much almost exactly the same. I mean, it's the same basis. Pick somebody from point A, take them to point B. My personal experience in my area where I drive, um, the pro with Uber is, as far as I know right now, they pay more. I think my current per mile rate is 0.95 cents for Uber and 0.88, so it's not much of a difference, but it is a difference. The downfall, however, again, in my area, Uber is more popular, Lyft is not. So the pro with Lyft versus Uber, though, is, from what I can tell when I cash out and when I look at my receipts and stuff, Lyft does not take as much percentage-wise as Uber currently does. So there's pros and cons um, to both platforms. With that being said, on an average weekend when I go driving, where I'm at, I usually can make between $200 and $300 on a weekend. And usually 2/3 of that is Uber and 1/3 is Lyft. Now, when I go to Philadelphia, that usually ranges anywhere between 20 and 40% being Lyft and 60 to 70 or 80% being Uber. It all depends on the weekend and things like that. Um, my highest weekend I've ever had in Philly, when I went down there, I made $1,200 in one weekend. And with that being said, 900 of that was Lyft. I'm sorry, 900 of that was Uber, and the other 300 was Lyft. So there's definitely a difference. Now that is starting to shift. More people, thank you, Aaron, I appreciate it. More people are starting to use Lyft in certain areas. Um, Lyft, in my opinion, is more popular. This is the pro with Lyft. It's more popular for kids from 18 up to college, 24, 26, that area, because Lyft in most areas is cheaper. They are competing for space with Uber, so they lower their rates. The downfall, again, with that, the con, is that the drivers don't make as much, depending on what area you're in. Uber is geared more, I would say, just from my experience, again, anywhere from 25 up to 50, mainly because, one, it's been around longer. Two, people are comfortable with it, and a lot of older people, when they find one thing they're comfortable with, they like to stick with it. They don't like to try different things. So most people that have good experiences with Uber aren't going to switch to a different service because they're happy with what they have. So that being said, again, that's a pro and con for each. They're very similar. They provide the exact same service unless you do Uber Eats, but we're just talking about basic Uber, okay? Pick up, whether it's a um, an airport run or driving somebody to work, wherever. Um, surges, surges are almost non-existent anymore, at least where I'm at. Same thing with Lyft did the personal power zones before they also did the multiplier stuff. Same thing as Uber, but I haven't had a surge or any of that stuff, whether it's Uber or Lyft, in forever. Um, recommend to anybody was whether you drive Uber or Lyft. If you're doing one, I don't know why you wouldn't be doing both. Um, it's just like fishing, and I'm just going to use this as an analogy. If you're hungry, the more lines you have in the river to catch your dinner, the more chances that you're going to get a pickup or you're going to get a fish on that line. So the more stuff you have in the sea, the more lines you have in that river, okay, the more lines that you have in that river, the better your chances of catching that fish. Same thing goes with Uber and Lyft. You drive for both platforms. If there's people out there looking for rides, at least in my opinion, a lot of younger people are looking for the best deal. So they'll go onto Uber, they'll check and see what the rates are, then they'll go into Lyft, they'll also check and see what the rates are, and usually they'll order whichever one is cheaper. So if you have both platforms up on your phone, which if you have both platforms up on your phone, and you have a better chance of catching that fish, aka being your passenger, okay? The main goal of you driving is always to have somebody in your car. It's always to have your car full. When you're driving from point A to point B, say you take somebody from Philadelphia to Harrisburg, okay? That's like a 3-hour drive, but I just know the city, so let's just say you're taking somebody from Philadelphia to Harrisburg and you live in Philadelphia. Okay, so when you leave Harrisburg, on your return trip, you want to set your destination to Philly. Try and pick up as many passengers that are going in your general direction back to Philly, because if not, you're just going to have a dead space of 3 hours where you're not making any money. Now, the biggest fare that I ever had was from Philadelphia Airport to New York City. Okay, this was a 2.5-hour drive. The total, it was a $160 fare, and they gave me a $40 tip, so I made $200. Now, it took me 2.5 hours to get there and 2.5 hours to get back. So it's 5 hours that I did that drive. On the way back from New York to Philly, I did not get a single fare, because once I stepped out of Pennsylvania, sorry guys, I'm having issues. As most of you guys know, once you step out of Pennsylvania, you can take anybody anywhere, but once you go out of Pennsylvania borders, you can't pick anybody up. So from New York City the whole way back down, I couldn't pick anybody up until I crossed the Pennsylvania border. So I literally did not pick anybody up the whole way back until I got into Philly. So I drove for 5 hours. 2.5 hours of that I made money. The other 2.5 hours I didn't. However, to me, it was worth it, because for 5-hour drive, there up there and back, I made $200. That averaged to be, what was it? $40 an hour. Okay. I have a Toyota hybrid, so I did not waste much in gas at all. I maybe $10 at the most. It was in gas, because it wasn't. I really did not. It was all highway, and yeah. So anyway, the biggest expense was the toll going over the Verrazano Bridge into Staten Island when I went to JFK Airport. It was $15 across, $15 back. The first one was included in the fare. The second one was not. That's why they gave me such a good tip, because he even said to me, here's money for your toll on the way back. So with that being said, I still made around, after everything was said and done, I think it was like $30 an hour on that trip. To me, again, that's not bad. I don't think $30 an hour is bad at all. And nobody, if you're getting paid $30 an hour and you're complaining, you need to find a different job, because this job's not for you. That, however, was an Uber ride. Um, I prefer Uber over Lyft. Always. I will always prefer Uber, driving for Uber over Lyft, because at the end of the day, I do believe Uber pays more. Um, I do believe they sometimes do care about their customers and also care about their drivers. When I've had issues with rides or deliveries, I have called them and they have fixed it. I've had issues where I go to pick up a delivery and the restaurant is actually closed, and they still give me, I think, $4 or $5 just for me wasting my time, because their system is stupid and doesn't realize that the place is closed. But yet again, you have to call, you have to put in the effort to get that out of them. With that being said, right now I'm currently having issues with Uber. I've called them probably a total of 8 or 9 times. With that being said, I have called them probably 8 or 9 times to resolve my registration issue, and yet again, it has not been fixed. So luckily, I already had a trip planned to Philadelphia for tomorrow, so I'm just going to take advantage of that and visit the hub. I'm going to have to talk to somebody there, show them my registration for last year and this year, and hopefully they can fix it, because to be honest, I really don't want to drive in Philadelphia just doing Lyft. When I go down there, I like to take advantage of both, because it's longer. I can do, if I really wanted to, I could drive 24 hours straight, once on Lyft, once on Uber, but I don't do that. I usually drive about 8 on Lyft and maybe another like 6 or 7 on Uber, or the other way around, I mean. But point being is, I like to take advantage of having both platforms when I'm there, so that way I can work just a little bit longer than the 12 hours if I want to. So yeah. Like I said, guys, this is going to be an upcoming series. I'm going to put this in a playlist, and every time I come out with a new part, I'm just going to add it to the playlist. When I come out with things that I think of that are great with Uber and Lyft, or vice versa, or versus each other, I will definitely add it to the playlist and see where it goes from there. There's definitely, like I said, there's comparisons between the two, there's differences between the two. Whether you're a rider or a driver, you just need to figure out exactly what works best for you and in your area. Like I said, it all depends about your area and your market, whether you're a rider or a driver. Most markets have one that you could tell is a big difference preferred. It all depends on your passengers. A lot of cities have older people, a lot of cities have younger people. I currently live in a college town that has 3 different colleges, and depending on the time of day and what day it is, Lyft will be crazy, and that's all I'll get. The next day, all I'll get's Uber. That's why I like doing both and having the option to be able to do both. So, but I hope everybody has a good day. I'll probably come on live again tomorrow, either on my drive down to Philly, or after the hub, and let everybody know what's going on with that. So, but I hope everybody has a great day. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.